Before we start, I want to say that only 1% of you are subscribed. Please subscribe because when we reach 1,000 subscribers, I will post a special video for you. Tom's day had started like any other, with the early morning sun casting long shadows over the rolling hills of his research site. As an earth botanist, his work revolved around cataloging the diverse flora of the region, a task he found both calming and infinitely fascinating. However, the tranquility of the morning was abruptly shattered by a thunderous roar overhead. Tom glanced up, shielding his eyes against the bright sun, to see a massive, sleek object slicing through the sky. It was unlike any aircraft he had ever seen. Its body was dark, almost absorbing the sunlight rather than reflecting it, with angular protrusions and a humming that resonated in the chest more than it hit the ears. Probably military, muttered Tom to himself, though in his heart he knew this was no human craft. His suspicion was confirmed moments later when the object began to descend, not a mile from where he stood. Curiosity overcame caution, and he found himself walking towards the landing site. As Tom approached, the craft settled on the ground with an eerie silence, the humming ceasing completely. A ramp lowered, and from it emerged a figure tall and imposing, with skin that shimmered like the surface of a pearl. The figure was unmistakably not human, its eyes too large, too vivid, and it wore a suit that seemed to be part of its very skin. Tom stopped in his tracks, suddenly aware of the potential danger. Yet, as the alien looked around, its gaze fell on Tom and softened. The creature stepped forward, a universal gesture of peace offered. Its hands were raised, palms out. "Greetings, Earthling," it spoke, the voice surprisingly gentle and clearly male. "I am Commander Vera of the Xiron fleet." Tom swallowed, his voice steadying as he replied. "Tom, I'm just a botanist. What brings you to Earth?" "To observe and report initially," Vera explained, looking around at the lush greenery. "Your planet is ripe with life, unique in this sector of the galaxy." Despite the tension Tom's passion for his work sparked, "You're standing in one of the most diverse ecosystems on our planet. If it's life you're interested in, you're looking at it." Vera's curiosity was palpable. "Show me." Tom hesitated, then nodded. What harm could there be in showing this alien the wonders of Earth? If Vera was here to learn, maybe he could sway his intentions, provide a new perspective on human life. "All right, but keep in mind, I'm no diplomat," Tom warned, leading the way into the thick of the forest. As they walked, Tom pointed out various plants, explaining their roles in the ecosystem. Vera listened intently, asking questions that Tom found surprisingly insightful. "This plant here," Tom said, pointing to a flowering bush, "has medicinal properties. We've developed treatments from its extracts." "Fascinating," Vera murmured, his tone filled with genuine interest. "On Xiron, we have similar practices, but not with such biodiversity." The conversation continued, with each step seeming to lessen the gap between their worlds. By the time they returned to the clearing, the sun was high in the sky, casting a warm glow over everything. "Thank you, Tom," Vera said as they reached his ship. "I have much to consider." Tom nodded, feeling a mix of relief and anxiety. "Safe travels, Vera. Maybe our paths will cross again under better circumstances." As Vera boarded his ship, he paused, looking back at Tom. "Perhaps they will. I hope they do." The craft lifted off, leaving Tom alone once more in the silence of the clearing. He couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. After the departure of Commander Vera, Tom was left with a sense of unease. He knew he should report the encounter, but the thought of military intervention made him hesitate. Instead, he decided to reach out to his colleague, Dr. Eric Madsen, an expert in astrobiology. Tom found Eric in his lab, surrounded by microscopes and petri dishes. The room smelled of chemicals and sterile equipment, a sharp contrast to the earthy scents of Tom's fieldwork. "Eric, you won't believe what happened this morning," Tom began, still catching his breath from his brisk walk to the lab. Eric looked up, his face lighting up with interest. "What's going on? You look like you've seen a ghost." "Something like that," Tom chuckled nervously. "I met an alien. Like an actual extraterrestrial." Eric raised his eyebrows, skepticism mixing with intrigue. "You're serious? An alien, here on Earth?" "Yes, and he seemed peaceful. His name is Vera, a commander of some space fleet. They're observing Earth," Tom explained, his voice a mixture of excitement and worry. Eric leaned back, considering the implications. "This is incredible, Tom, but also potentially dangerous." What did he want? He was curious about our planet's biodiversity. I showed him around the area. He was fascinated by our work with medicinal plants. Eric's scientific curiosity was piqued. We need to prepare. If they're interested in our biosphere, we should document everything. Maybe we can communicate the value of preserving our planet. I thought the same. Tom agreed. I'm worried about what his people might do, though. He mentioned observing and reporting back. The two decided to pool their expertise, with Eric focusing on preparing detailed reports of their environmental conservation efforts, while Tom planned to document the diverse species in the area. Let's get some of the team involved, Eric suggested. If they come back, we should show them that Earth is not just a specimen jar to be poked and prodded. Tom nodded. I'll call Jenna and Mike. They should be part of this. The following day, Jenna, an environmental scientist, and Mike, a zoologist, joined Tom and Eric at the research station. Tom briefed them on his encounter with Vera. Jenna was immediately on board. We can use this to highlight the interconnectedness of Earth's ecosystems. If these aliens understand complexity, they might appreciate our conservation challenges, Mike added, and I can provide data on animal behaviors and habitats. If they're observing, let's make it a show worth watching. Over the next few days, the team worked tirelessly, setting up observation posts and cameras, cataloging everything from soil composition to animal migration patterns. Eric coordinated the efforts, ensuring that all data could be easily shared and understood, potentially even by extraterrestrial observers. As they worked, the team discussed potential communication methods. If they return, how do we even begin to communicate our findings? Jenna pondered. We stick to the universal language of science, Eric proposed. Data, charts, even video footage. Whatever their technology, the fundamentals of scientific inquiry should be relatable. Tom felt a renewed sense of purpose. The prospect of making Earth's case to a potentially hostile alien force was daunting, but with his team beside him, it felt possible. They were not just defending their planet. They were advocating for its life and beauty. As they compiled their findings, the team grew closer, their mission forging bonds that went beyond their usual scientific collaborations. They were no longer just colleagues. They were Earth's first unofficial ambassadors. 2 weeks had passed since Vera's visit, and the research team's efforts to document Earth's biodiversity were in full swing. Tom, Eric, Jenna, and Mike had turned their station into a hub of activity, each day bringing new data, more recordings, and deeper insights. On a particularly clear morning, as the sun rose over the horizon, casting a golden glow on the dew-laden grass, Tom and Mike were out tracking a rare species of bird that had recently been sighted near their base. Got anything yet? Tom asked, peering through his binoculars. Just a couple of false alarms, Mike replied, adjusting the settings on his camera. These birds are elusive, but their migration patterns could tell us a lot about climate impacts here. As they spoke, a quiet whirring sound filled the air. Tom and Mike exchanged a look. They knew immediately it was not from any earthly vehicle. They watched as a small drone-like device descended towards them, landing gracefully on the ground nearby. It's them, isn't it? Mike asked, his voice a mix of nerves and excitement. Tom nodded, stepping forward to inspect the device. It was sleek, obviously sophisticated, and had a small screen that flickered to life as he approached. A message appeared in clear English. Commander Vera requests a meeting. Coordinates attached. They want to meet again, Tom said, looking up at Mike with determined eyes. We should bring Eric and Jenna. Gathering their equipment, they hurried back to the station to inform their colleagues. Eric was particularly animated by the news. This is our chance, Eric said as he packed up some portable data storage devices filled with their findings. If we can show them what we've documented, maybe we can influence their decisions about Earth. Jenna added, let's make sure we represent not just the data, but what it means for our planet. This isn't just numbers, it's the story of our home. The team set out for the coordinates, a secluded area known for its natural beauty. As they arrived, Vera was already waiting, his imposing figure strangely at ease in the serene landscape. Welcome back, Commander, Tom greeted, stepping forward. We've prepared something to show you. Vera nodded, his expression unreadable. I'm eager to see what you have learned. Eric led the presentation, showing videos of wildlife, charts of plant growth, and satellite images depicting environmental changes. Jenna talked through the conservation strategies they employed, emphasizing the global efforts to preserve biodiversity. Mike then showed footage of the bird species they had been tracking that morning, explaining their importance to the ecosystem. Each species plays a role, no matter how small it may seem, he said. Vera listened intently, occasionally asking pointed questions that surprised the team with their depth. It was clear he was not just passing through. He was genuinely interested in understanding Earth. As the presentation wrapped up, Tom took a deep breath and addressed Vera directly. Commander, what you've seen today represents just a fraction of what Earth has to offer. Our planet is alive, vibrant, and worth more than just a strategic advantage. Vera was silent for a long moment, then spoke. Your dedication to your planet is admirable. I must consider everything you have shown me. As the alien commander departed, the team felt a cautious optimism. They had done everything they could to showcase Earth's value not just as a resource, but as a complex, living world deserving of respect and protection. Think he'll come around? Jenna asked as they watched Vera's craft disappear into the sky. I hope so, Tom replied. For Earth's sake, I really hope so. Tom and his team had been working tirelessly since their last meeting with Vera. Their data collection intensified, and their advocacy for Earth's biodiversity grew even more passionate. As they prepared for another potential visit from the Xyron fleet, the atmosphere at the station was a blend of anticipation and apprehension. One afternoon, while Tom and Eric were calibrating some new sensors along the riverbank, a familiar humming noise filled the air. They looked up to see Vera's sleek craft landing softly on the nearby meadow. He's back sooner than expected, Eric noted, his voice tense but hopeful. Let's see what he wants this time, Tom replied, leading the way toward the craft. Vera emerged, his expression more open than before, a sign that perhaps the previous encounters had begun to forge a bond, or at least a mutual respect. Tom, Eric, I have come to discuss further. Vera started, his tone serious but friendly. Your presentations have been very illuminating. I see the value in your biodiversity. That's great to hear, Commander, Eric responded enthusiastically. We have even more to show you. Our latest findings emphasize the interconnectedness of all life forms here. Vera nodded. I am here to learn more. But also, I must be honest about my mission. Tom and Eric exchanged a quick glance, sensing the gravity of what Vera might reveal next. My fleet is under orders that could endanger your planet. It is not merely out of curiosity that we are here. We are assessing Earth for potential colonization. The words hit Tom like a physical blow. He struggled to maintain composure, his mind racing for the right words to respond. Colonization, Tom repeated, the word heavy with implications. That would imply displacing Earth's inhabitants, not to mention the catastrophic impact on our ecosystems. Vera's gaze didn't waver. It is why I am conflicted. Since our last meeting, I have argued for alternatives with my superiors. Your efforts to showcase Earth's complexity have not gone unnoticed. Eric stepped forward, his demeanor firm yet diplomatic. Commander, let us show you more. Perhaps understanding deeper can sway your superiors. Earth is not just another planet. It is a web of life that could offer more as an ally than a territory. Show me, then, Vera said, a hint of urgency in his voice. Convince me, so I may convince them. The trio walked towards the dense part of the forest where the team had recently tagged several endangered species. Tom explained each animal's role in the ecosystem, how the loss of one could lead to the collapse of others. Meanwhile, Eric shared his tablet screen, displaying graphs and simulations of environmental decline if such colonization took place. See here, Commander. The ripple effects could be devastating. Not just for us, but for the entire biosphere. Vera watched, his face a mask of concentration. The weight of his decisions was palpable, and for the first time, Tom felt a flicker of hope that they might reach an understanding. As they concluded the tour, Vera spoke, Your dedication to your planet is profound. I must reflect on this further. Thank you for considering our position, Tom said. Remember, cooperation can yield better results than conquest. Vera nodded, his demeanor indicating that the message had reached him. I will return to my fleet with your insights. This is not the end of our discussions. Watching Vera's craft descend into the sky, Tom and Eric felt a cautious optimism. They had made an impact, however small, on the looming threat of colonization. The challenge was far from over, but they were ready to defend their home, armed with data, determination, and a growing alliance with an unlikely visitor from the stars. Several days had passed since Vera's visit, and the research team had intensified their efforts, hoping their data could serve as a persuasive argument against colonization. Tom, Eric, Jenna, and Mike were gathered in the lab, discussing strategies to further enhance their presentations, when the unexpected whir of engines announced Vera's return. He's back already. That's sooner than I thought, Tom said, peering out the window. Eric clapped him on the shoulder. Maybe our message got through. Let's find out. They met Vera outside, where the alien commander stepped off his craft with a more contemplative demeanor than before. Tom, Eric, Vera greeted them. I have come alone this time for a personal reason. May we speak privately? Tom nodded, sensing the seriousness of the request. Of course, Commander. As Eric and the others returned to the lab, Tom led Vera to a secluded part of the nearby woods, a place where they had first walked together. The familiarity seemed to ease the tension a bit. What's on your mind, Vera? Tom asked as they reached a clearing that overlooked the river. It's about your world and about me, Vera began, his voice uncharacteristically uncertain. I have been deeply moved by what I have learned here. Not just the science, but the spirit, your connection to this planet. It's compelling. Tom listened, struck by the vulnerability in Vera's tone. I have also been conflicted, Vera continued. My mission, my duties, they were clear until I met you and your team. Now, I find myself questioning the path laid out for me. That's understandable, Tom replied, feeling an unexpected kinship with the alien commander. Choices about the future, especially one that affects so many lives, are never easy. Vera turned to face Tom, his large eyes reflective in the light. I want to experience more of what makes Earth unique. Not as a commander, but as a learner. Maybe even as a friend. Tom was surprised but pleased. We would be honored to share more with you, Vera. To show you what it means to live connected to our planet, not just study it from a distance. Thank you, Tom, Vera said, a smile hinting at the edges of his words. I wish to start now. Is there something we can do together as friends? Tom thought for a moment, then a perfect idea came to him. How about we go kayaking? It's a peaceful way to see the ecosystem from the perspective of the water. Vera agreed eagerly, so they retrieved 2 kayaks stored near the research station and set them in the river. Tom showed Vera how to paddle, and soon they were gliding smoothly over the water, surrounded by the sounds of wildlife and the rustling of leaves. As they paddled, Tom pointed out various fish and water plants, explaining their roles in the aquatic ecosystem. Vera listened intently, his earlier formality replaced by a genuine curiosity and a sense of wonder. This is beautiful, Tom, Vera remarked, looking around with an appreciative gaze. I see why you fight so hard for your planet. It's not just our planet, Vera. It's a living home, full of life that deserves a chance to continue, freely and without fear, Tom explained, his words echoing across the gentle ripples of the river. Vera nodded, paddling silently for a few minutes, lost in thought. I have much to consider. Your friendship, this connection to Earth, it's more profound than I anticipated. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, they paddled back to shore. The day had deepened their understanding, bridging gaps between 2 vastly different beings through the simple act of sharing experiences. Let's do this again, Vera said as they pulled the kayaks onto the bank. Anytime, Vera. You're always welcome here, Tom replied, feeling a hopeful peace settle between them. Following their kayaking trip, the relationship between Tom and Vera had shifted significantly. There was an understanding, almost a camaraderie, that had begun to take root. As the days passed, Vera made frequent visits, each time engaging more deeply with different aspects of Earth's natural and cultural heritage, accompanied often by Tom and sometimes by Eric. On one such day, as autumn began to paint the trees with bursts of red and gold, Tom and Vera were walking through a densely wooded area near the research station. They had just finished setting up a new series of environmental sensors. Your planet continues to amaze me, Tom, Vera remarked, looking around with a thoughtful expression. The diversity, the complexity, it's unlike anything we have on Xyron. Tom smiled, clipping the last sensor into place. I'm glad you think so. It's important to us that you see the beauty and not just the strategic value. Vera nodded. I do see it, Tom. More each day. And it troubles me, the thought of my fleet, my people, causing harm here. The conversation shifted as they started their walk back to the station. What will you do? Tom asked, genuinely curious about Vera's next move. I've been in communication with my superiors, Vera began, his voice tinged with tension. I've shared my observations, my feelings about Earth. They're not easily swayed, but I believe they are beginning to listen. That's a start, Tom responded, his tone supportive. If there's anything more we can provide, any data, any testimony, just let us know. Vera paused, turning to face Tom. Actually, there is something. I've been authorized to invite a small delegation from Earth to speak directly to our council, to plead Earth's case. Tom was taken aback. That's unprecedented, isn't it? Yes, it is, Vera admitted. But it's a chance. A chance for your voices to be heard at the highest level. They reached the research station, where Eric was waiting. Tom relayed the conversation to him. Eric's eyes widened with a mix of excitement and nerves. This could change everything, Eric said, his mind racing with the possibilities. We need to prepare, gather all our data, make the most compelling case possible. Vera watched the two men, their determination palpable. I must return soon to prepare for your arrival. It will not be easy, and the outcome is uncertain, but I believe this is the right path. Thank you, Vera, Tom said, clapping the alien on the shoulder. For everything you're doing. After Vera left, Tom and Eric convened a meeting with Jenna and Mike, outlining the new development. The team worked through the night, compiling reports, videos, and photographic evidence, each piece curated to show not only the beauty of Earth but also the potential consequences of its destruction. We need to emphasize the interconnectedness of all life, Jenna stated as she organized the presentation slides. Show them that damaging one part affects the whole. And let's highlight the personal stories, Mike added. The human element, it's something data alone can't convey. The next few days were a whirlwind of preparation. Vera communicated regularly, providing guidance on Xiron's cultural and political nuances to help tailor their message. Finally, the day came for the delegation to depart. Tom, Eric, Jenna, and Mike stood together, a united front ready to face the unknown. Vera arrived to escort them personally, his demeanor serious but hopeful. As we go, Vera said, addressing the group, remember, it's not just facts and figures that will sway them. It's your passion, your commitment to your home. Show them what it means to be stewards of such a world. With a final check of their equipment and data, the team boarded Vera's craft, the weight of their mission settling over them. As the Earth receded below them, Tom looked back, his resolve strengthening. We won't let you down, he whispered to his planet, the blue and green orb that was home to countless lives and dreams. The journey ahead was daunting, but Earth's first ambassadors were ready to stand and defend their world. The journey to the Xiron Council was tense and silent, with each member of the Earth delegation lost in their own thoughts, rehearsing arguments and preparing mentally for the challenges ahead. When they finally arrived, they were ushered into a vast chamber, where the Xiron Council awaited, a daunting array of figures whose expressions were unreadable. Vera led Tom, Eric, Jenna, and Mike to the center of the chamber. Esteemed members of the council, he began, his voice echoing off the high ceilings. I present to you representatives from Earth who wish to discuss the fate of their planet. A senior council member, whose features were marked by the distinguished silver tint of his skin, addressed the group. We welcome you, Earthlings. We are aware of your planet's unique attributes. Present your case. Tom stepped forward, the weight of Earth's future pressing on him. Thank you for this opportunity. Earth is not just our home but a living, breathing entity with a delicate balance. Its destruction would not only be a loss for us but a universal tragedy. Eric then took over, presenting detailed simulations and environmental data. These projections show the catastrophic ripple effects that any invasive action would have, not just on Earth but potentially through interplanetary ecological networks. Jenna added a personal touch by showcasing video testimonials from various Earth citizens, farmers, scientists, children, all speaking about what their home meant to them. Mike concluded with an impassioned plea, focusing on the interconnectedness of all life forms. What happens on Earth will not stay on Earth. It affects everyone, all beings across the cosmos. The council murmured among themselves, the atmosphere charged with tension. After a lengthy discussion, the senior members spoke again. Your presentations have been enlightening. We will retire to deliberate. Commander Vera, please escort the delegates to their quarters. As they left the chamber, Vera looked at Tom and his colleagues with what seemed like respect. You spoke well. The council will consider everything carefully. In their quarters, the team debriefed, their mood a mix of hope and nervous anticipation. I think we got through to them, Eric said, trying to sound optimistic. We did what we came to do, Tom added. Now, it's out of our hands. The wait was agonizing, stretching into hours that felt like days. Finally, Vera returned, his expression unreadable. The council has made a decision. They invite you back to hear it. Back in the chamber, the same senior council member stood to deliver the verdict. After careful consideration, we had decided to halt our colonization plans for Earth. The testimony presented, coupled with Commander Vera's reports, has shown us that the value of Earth lies in its existing state. A collective sigh of relief swept through the Earth delegation. Tom felt a tremendous burden lift from his shoulders. Furthermore, the council member continued, "We are interested in establishing a formal observation pact with Earth. We wish to learn from your conservation efforts and integrate these lessons into our own practices." This offer, unexpected but welcome, sparked a new kind of discussion among the team, one filled with possibilities and new horizons. "Thank you," Tom said, his voice steady with gratitude. "We look forward to a productive and peaceful relationship." As they left the chamber, Vera joined them. "Your words have opened new paths, not just for Earth, but for Xiron as well. I believe this is the beginning of something beneficial for us all." The team exchanged smiles, their spirits lifted by the outcome. They had come as defenders of their planet and were leaving as pioneers of a new alliance. "It's more than we hoped for," Eric commented as they headed back to their craft. "Yes," Tom agreed, looking back at the council building. "It's a new chapter for Earth, and we're just getting started." With the successful conclusion of their mission, Tom, Eric, Jenna, and Mike boarded their craft for the journey back to Earth, hearts buoyant with relief and optimism. The atmosphere was lighter than it had been in days, and the conversations were filled with excitement about the future. As they neared Earth, Tom looked out at the blue and green planet growing larger in view. "It's beautiful, isn't it? Knowing we've secured its future makes it even more so." Eric nodded, sharing the sentiment. "It's incredible. Think about the story we'll have to tell. A real turning point for Earth and for interstellar relations." Vera, who had been mostly silent during the trip, finally spoke. "I've been thinking about what this means for my own people. Learning from Earth, changing our approach to exploration, it could reshape our entire civilization." "That's the hope," Jenna added. "Sharing knowledge, growing together instead of imposing wills. It's a powerful model." Mike chimed in, "We should start planning how to integrate Xiron technologies with our conservation efforts. Imagine the advancements we could make with their insights." The craft touched down gently back on Earth, and they were greeted by a gathering of fellow scientists, government officials, and media, all eager to hear about the outcome. Tom led the team as they disembarked, stepping up to the microphones set up for their arrival. "Today marks a new beginning for Earth. Thanks to open dialogue and understanding, we've not only averted a crisis but have laid the groundwork for a fruitful partnership with the Xiron civilization." Questions flew from the reporters, asking about details of the agreement, the Xiron technology, and what immediate changes would be seen on Earth. Eric took some of the questions, detailing, "We will be setting up joint research initiatives, starting with environmental technology. We aim to improve our planet's health and share our successes with our new allies." As the press conference concluded, Vera approached Tom. "I will be remaining on Earth for some time to facilitate the integration of our efforts. It seems I have much to learn from you, my friend." Tom clapped him on the shoulder, smiling broadly. "We're glad to have you here, Vera. There's a lot we can accomplish together." In the following weeks, Tom and the team were involved in setting up the new programs. The world watched and often participated eagerly in these new initiatives, which promised not only to enhance Earth's ecological stability, but also to bring about a new era of cosmic cooperation. One evening, as Tom and Vera were overseeing the installation of a new environmental monitoring station, Tom reflected on the journey. "Did you ever imagine, when you first came to Earth, that this is where we'd end up?" Vera looked out over the horizon, where the sun was setting spectacularly. "No, I did not. It is unexpected, but it is welcome. Your planet has taught me a great deal about the importance of perspectives and the value of preserving life in all its forms." Tom nodded, feeling a profound connection not just to his own world, but to the universe. "It's a big galaxy out there. Who knows what other lessons we'll find, what other friends we'll make?" As the sun dipped below the horizon, leaving a sky streaked with colors, Vera and Tom continued their work, surrounded by a team dedicated to the future, a future not just for Earth, but for any world willing to learn and grow together. This chapter might have closed, but the story of Earth and Xiron, and potentially other civilizations, was just beginning.